What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Kofi Kingston, aka 1/3 of the New Day. You're not gonna say it with me, sir? Yeah, come on, you better participate. Let's try it again. 1/3 of the New Day, and you are watching The Young and the Wrestlers. Ha 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 ha.
Welcome to The Young and the Wrestlers, the Pop Culture's WWE podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Ryan Betson, alongside not Jem this week, not Simon. This is the man, the myth, the legend. This is DirtSheet Dash.
What's going on, Betson?
Yeah, this is going to be awesome. So this is our NXT TakeOver WarGames and our Survivor Series special. Mm-hmm. But you can listen to Young and the Wrestlers, their usual show, Tuesdays, SmackDown, 8 a.m., podcast services, 9 a.m., YouTubes, Raw, Wednesday, 8 a.m., podcast, 9 a.m., YouTubes. Young and the Wrestlers fucking everywhere. It's exciting. But if you want to join that wrestling conversation, head over to facebook.com/group/thepopculturist, Twitter, Discord. Links are in the description below. Twitter handles under our lovely faces right here. If you want to join the conversation as it happens, head over to patreon.com/thepopculturists, where you support us at any dollar value. Get yourself a nice little sneaky link where you can watch us record this show live. If you want to support us in a more once-off fashion, head over to popculturist.com/shop, where you can buy shirts and other assorted shit with our logos on it. And we are also on Twitch at twitch.tv/thepopculturist. That's right. Dash, I'm so happy to have you here, man.
So happy to be here, dude. It's awesome to actually be on another person's podcast for once.
Yes, very rarely do you get to guest on people's stuff. You're always hosting, people guest on your shit. So this is really cool.
It feels nice and relaxed to actually just sit back and have you doing all the responsibilities. I love it. It's great.
Yeah, it's like a de-stress. You get to feel how I feel when I come and crash Dash Culture. Yeah. You're like, well, I just got to chill. I'm going to reference my dick at some point, and let's just do this.
Nice. Can't wait. But
yeah, so what we've done is because this is a special, because we've had not one, but two pay-per-views this week.
Yeah.
I thought, let's make something happen. Now, Jem was unable to record tonight for reasons. So I was like, who's the next best thing? It's the Dash.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's kick things right off with NXT TakeOver WarGames.
Oh, boy.
Oh,
WarGames.
WarGames.
WarGames. Thank you, Mr. Regal.
So impressively, this pay-per-view was only four matches on the card.
Really? It seemed like more.
It was only 4. And it was a nice, tidy, 2.5 hours. It was on point. Now, it did kick off with the women's War Games match. Now, I'm going to try to remember the team off the top of my head. So, we had Team Shayna, which was Shayna Baszler, Io Shirai. I want to say Bianca Belair.
I am looking it up, but yeah,
keep going. You're a champion. And I brain farted on the other two.
That's okay. So it was a Team Ripley, Rhea Ripley, Candice LeRae, Tegan Nox, and Dakota Kai.
That's right.
Versus Team Baszler, Shayna Baszler, Bianca Belair, Io Shirai, and Kaylee Ray.
I forgot Kaylee Ray because NXT UK. I don't watch a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
But so Dakota Kai was last minute change because the pay-per-view did open. In the kickoff show we saw Mia Yim had been jacked in the back area or beaten up, and she was being ushered into a ambulance. And then Rhea, who's there, is like, Dakota, you're in. She's like, I'm not ready. Like, now you're ready. You're getting in. That's pretty much what happened. Yeah, and then we kick, then fucking like sirens going off, lasers, smoke, cage comes down, and that's the start of WarGames.
Exactly. Okay.
So I do believe, if I remember right, Team Shayna did have the advantage here, thanks to that fucking impeccable match between Io Shirai and Mia Yim about a week ago. That was an incredible ladder match. Oh my God, I watched it at work, and there was myself and a bunch of our clients were like, what are you guys watching? Oh my God.
Yeah.
This is amazing. And the final spot when, Mia just free drops into the ladder on the side, we all erupted. It was a really good shared experience, actually.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, I think if anything, this is the thing right now is that NXT are just untouchable.
Man.
And for me, who comes across from an AEW podcast over here, this is the competition right now. And it's one of those things where I still think that NXT have the top tier talent, including the women. And like, even when you compare some of the main roster women right now to the NXT women, you just can't. They're unbelievable. They're untouchable, and they're doing such a great job right now.
No, you're 100% spot on, man. And like, if anything, this match here solidified that. It really locked it down. So we'll go straight to the. I'm trying to remember the order, but we'll go straight to the finish. It did. So Team Ripley did get the win after an incredible spot with Shayna and Rhea. There was a situation where Rhea handcuffed herself to Baszler. They proceeded to just kick the shit out of each other, and then it ended with her finisher, which I can't remember the name of. Just big old drop. 1, 2, 3. She pinned the NXT Women's Champion.
Yeah. Are we going to talk about the elephant in the room with Dakota Kai?
Hell yeah, we are. So during this, as the each team came in one by one, it was Dakota Kai's time to come in. As she made her way out, she's like, fuck this noise, turned around and proceeded to kick the living crap out of Tegan Nox.
Yeah.
So instantly putting them down 2 women.
Yeah, and it's also the first time that Dakota Kai's turned heel in her career as well. She's been always looked at in comparison to like somebody. If I'm comparing it to anybody right now, it'd be like Smiley Carly Ray from AEW or AEW fame,
like Old Bailey, I guess.
Exactly. This is like NXT Bailey right now. And she just immediately turns heel during this, which was a major shock to a lot of people, but it was great instant, because if there's anything about the history of WarGames that I know, and I watched WarGames when I was a kid as well in WCW. It's the best place to make a heel turn as well, because I don't know, man, there's just something about WarGames that, like the 2 rings, the double cage, the atmosphere about it, and just the surprise element of actually having teammates turn on teammates. One of the best places to do it is always WarGames, and they hit it right. I don't understand, like, the magic right now in NXT and the way they deliver is old school wrestling personified. When to compare it to the main roster, I was listening right before we jumped on tonight. This was like a surprise last minute kind of deal. I was actually listening to an interview of CM Punk on I can't remember, The Herd. I don't know if you've ever heard of that podcast. Have you heard of that?
I don't believe so, no.
It's a Fox Sports 1 podcast, actually.
Oh yes, actually, no, I know this one. Yeah.
It's a American football podcast, but they had CM Punk on there talking about it, and one of the things he brought up was the overproducing on the main roster, and how the main roster has like a group of creative, but is always led by one person, and how there is a script that's made by essentially one person, and that is delivered constantly every week, and how he was comparing it to football, how like a football team will always go onto the field and always have that same rush every week, that same tactic to go out there. And essentially that's what's happening with the main roster right now, is that there's the same tactic for everybody to go out there every week and do the same thing, and then like deliver the same promos from that same person, whereas there is an element of freedom on NXT right now that is beautifully delivered, and they've honestly been given that freedom, and you can see it by Triple H.
Oh yeah.
And they're doing it so well, dude. It's honestly like, if I were to compare right now, AEW is doing great, but NXT is still the best product.
Yeah, without a doubt. So NXT, they deliver something incredibly different to the main roster.
Yeah,
which is tough for us, because obviously the thing that we cover here is that
main roster. Yeah,
we cover the main roster primarily, and that soap opera nature. And
it must be
NXT.
I was going to say, it must be magic for you to actually like have a break from doing that when these takeovers come around. Oh, yeah. To sit down and talk about NXT.
Yeah, so like if I had more time in the week, we would do an NXT show as well. But I have like things. But it's that weighing thing up, right? Yeah, like if I had my chance and I did this full time, it would be fucking wrestling shows, PlayStation show. Like thankfully there's enough wrestling a week that I could probably survive.
You're on Wrestling Network now. What are you talking about?
That's what I'm saying. It's Wrestling Network that occasionally touches on PlayStation. Hey, saying that, PlayStation and wrestling crossed over today, and it was amazing.
It was great.
It was so good.
Tweet. Oh,
So for reference, WWE on Fox, whoever runs that account is a genius.
they need a raise. whoever
Yeah,
runs
so
that
what they
account.
did is they posted a picture of Triple H and Johnny Gargano with the idea of, I'm going to tell my kids that this is God of War and as this
Kratos,
is Kratos
yeah,
and
it's
Atreus. I'd nearly died. I thought it was fantastic. And Corey Barlog retweeted being like, isn't it?
I'm
And
gonna
then
tell my kids
Sony's,
that this is CM Punk versus.
yeah, and Sony Santa Monica responded with a picture of Boulder and Kratos going at it. It's like, I'm going to tell everyone this is CM Punk and Triple H. I'm like, oh my God,
It's so good.
this is heaven. All my favorites colliding.
domain. Yeah.
Sorry, as is tradition, my kid has broken in.
Oh, great.
Yeah, so like NXT is absolutely fantastic. They don't because they don't cover the same like story stuff as the main roster. I get to focus something different here. It's just banger matches. Is there any big standout moments within the women's war game match for you?
I think that was pretty much it. The heel turn by Dakota Kai was honestly the standout moment, because it's going to essentially lead to more of a follow-up in the story as well. Look, in terms of the performance, though, it was top tier. I wouldn't say that anything in ring was anything that I would necessarily deem as like quality of what we would usually see in terms of some of the women's wrestling that we usually see. Only mainly because I feel like War Games is great, but there is some constraints, and I believe that the women bumps aren't as harsh as some of the men bumps, and it's primarily so that some of these women don't get too injured during their time in ring as well, and they're cautious. It's good for the women because I believe that we get some top quality performances from the women in NXT, and I'd rather they not get injured because they can deliver.
Saying
so
that though,
good,
these women can still 100% go.
Oh fuck yeah!
I think I may get the name of the move wrong because it's the one I always get mixed up. It was in the corner. It was the Frankensteiner, I think, from the top rope. Yeah, you got it right. Dude,
that's the one.
I am such a sucker for a Frankensteiner and a Panama
It's so good.
Sunrise. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Those two moves just like make me like, and a good DDT. Give me a good like DDT and I just shit my pants. Just period.
Yeah, 100%.
But that Frankensteiner from the top rope back corner, beautiful, absolutely stunning.
Cool.
I don't know how you do that safely. When most moves you look at, you're like, oh, I know how they did that. But
good.
I just can't comprehend. I can't put two and two together and be like, how do you not collect someone's face in?
It's perfect.
Yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. The other spot that for me that was absolutely exceptional was when Rhea Ripley was getting ready to put Shayna onto the chairs and just had like the trash can there, ready to go. And I think it's the NXT UK chick went to go from a jump. She just turns around and just fucking yeets that trash can at her, takes her out midair. Beautiful. I laughed out loud. It was absolutely stunning.
Fantastic. Yeah. Now, top tier performances from them all around. Once again, I still believe that they played it safe, which is fine. The big moment once again was Dakota Kai turning heel for sure.
Yeah, when you then compare it to the likes of the main event, which was the men's war game match, we will get to shortly. It didn't quite feel as gnarly, and I do feel that maybe removing two of the women may have been part of that. Like, it seems like, well, look, they may not be able to go as hard, so let's bounce them out. Like, Dakota Kai's bung knee, Tegan Nox bung knee. Like, they are rocking the knee braces and whatnot. Maybe
it's obvious.
There is a concern there. And maybe there wasn't many other women that are ready to jump into War Games on the NXT roster. Because, if you look over, there's like that Chimera or whatever, and the Aaliyah, and like all these other women, you'd be like, well, you wouldn't fit within the story here. You wouldn't fit within this space. Yeah. It may not be best for you right now because you are very green. Saying that though, I kind of thought they may have put like Jessamine Duke and Shafir in here, but just for storytelling purposes. But then I realized that they're probably way too green to take those hits.
I agree. Yeah, 100%.
But yeah, so that was absolutely amazing. Standout match. I thought it was absolutely exceptional. Next up, we get the triple threat for the opportunity to take on Adam Cole, baby, for the NXT Championship on Survivor Series. It was between Killian Dane, Pete Dunne, and Damian Priest. I had literally zero shits going into this match.
Yeah.
I had nothing, and holy crap, was I impressed.
Yeah, I agree. Look, it's a case once again where all three performers here are fantastic. I think that the least interested I was probably Damian Priest a little bit.
Yeah, I haven't quite got the appeal of Priest yet. When, there's this weird like disco vampire thing going on. Yeah. I don't know what it is. And it compared to the difficulty that I had here was believing that these three people were worth the shot.
Yeah.
Mostly because although Dunn was NXT UK champion for like the fucking longest time, here as it stands right now, he is maybe could go for North American Championship.
Well, he's a former WWE UK heavyweight champion.
Yeah, that is. I'm saying, like, although he was champ over there, but now that he's on NXT, compared to those around him, it's this situation of, all right, you could probably go for North American. You may not. You're not going to be taking the big belt just yet.
Yeah, kind of. Look, I had a hard time, and I think we spoke about this as well last week. Was this match felt like kind of a bit of a throwaway in a bit, just to fit something in to kind of acknowledge the NXT title at the pay-per-view, because obviously they weren't getting the title match at TakeOver, they were getting it at Survivor Series. And to also push Pete Dunne over to the main card as well the next night. But yeah, I don't know. I wasn't completely... like, the performance was great. I was happy with it. Obviously, it's NXT. But the story that was told here was just a bit...
Yeah, it didn't quite land. Like, where they were trying to go. As I said, like, Killian Dane, I couldn't believe that he would be going for a shot. Damian Priest, I felt, was too new in terms of where they put him in NXT right now. It's like, okay, so the only one with any sort of edge or history would be Dunne.
Yes,
so
I agree.
So it's believable for him to be on this match.
100%, yeah.
I mean, absolutely bonkers. Killian Dane just wreck shop. He's a big dude. There was like some big, like, almost like not missile drop kicks, but like just big drop kicks. Just two boots like during a pin and stuff that just
100%. I'm with you there.
Yeah.
It was hard to believe Damian Priest was supposed to be there though.
Yeah, look, I'm fine with it. Next we had Matt Riddle versus Finn Balor. Pretty solid match, very technical match.
Yep.
Very much on the mat, and not a lot of the flippy doodahs, as I would say. It was very down on the ground, which is fine. It did have a feeling that this would have been Finn versus Gargano if he wasn't injured, because that's still the story beat of Riddle. It's a little tough.
Yeah. I was excited for this match because it was Finn's first match back in NXT. And I know that Finn has a little bit more creative freedom in terms of what he can do in the ring at NXT, because Triple H has a lot of faith behind the guy. I wasn't completely happy with this.
Okay.
Mainly because I felt like this was not the best way to bring Finn back into NXT. Look, it was obvious that they wanted to have Finn versus Johnny Gargano at the pay-per-view. With Johnny being injured, they couldn't have it. But I was tweeting. We were DMing over Twitter, and I told you that I feel like Balor should have been in WarGames. Whether he was on Team Ciampa or not, or even part of the Undisputed Era in some way. Yeah, that would have also been the heel turn effect. Essentially, what would happen was he would have come out, been part of Team Ciampa, because they had that slot that they could have used. Which we'll get into in a second, but and like in turn effect, like have him come out, look like, oh, but wait a minute, he's a heel, isn't he a heel? What's going on? He's helping out Team Ciampa, this and that. He can start off by looking like he's helping them, but then just like lay waste to
anyone that was in the ring.
Yeah, it would have been great.
But out of nowhere, he just starts one man arming, and then he's just like anyone that gets near him, he starts wrecking. That'd be brilliant.
100%. I wasn't too happy with just like the match was great, but narrative I'm just not happy with it.
Yeah, look, I was pretty pleased with it. I'm a big fan for Riddle. I'm a big fan for Finn Balor. So for that reason, I was really excited for it. As I said, there was a lot of grappling, a lot of like, not rest holds, but like, really stern holds. So that was different kind of match, but then it did have moments where it started kicking in gear and going a little bit harder, which I was fine with. I really enjoyed it. It did end with Finn Balor getting the win with that 1916, which is a fucking ripper DDT.
I mean, dirty deeds and elevated dirty deeds.
Oh yeah. Well, I have such a hard on for the dirty deeds. So if you get like add a bit more to it, I'm like, oh yeah,
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, when Moxley did it last week on Dynamite,
it's a paradigm shift now, isn't it? It's renamed.
Yeah, they called it the paradigm shift. Off the top rope on
Darby
Allin.
Oh,
holy shit! What a moment.
Oh man, there was dampness in the front area. Let me tell you. Like
but seeing Bella use a DDT now for his finisher, 2 thumbs up.
Oh yeah, 2 Kurt Angles, big time, eh?
Yeah.
Because the thing I love about the dirty deeds is the whip, like the speed that they get snapped into like to the shot. Obviously you don't get that when it's elevated, but in the same way the glorious DDTs like has this extra to it because it's a big lift. The same goes with the 16. Yeah. I
think there is something with a snap DDT though that just has an effect.
Yeah.
We have lazy DDTs that just don't have that same effect, but to see somebody get kicked in the guts and drop, it's fantastic. But an elevated DDT, just give me more.
Yeah, can't argue that. Can't argue that at all. And then finally, we had the men's War Games match.
War Games.
Team Undisputed Era. Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish, Roderick Strong versus Team Ciampa. So obviously we had Tommaso Ciampa, we had Keith Lee, we had brain fart.
Dominic Dijakovic.
Yes, I can never pronounce his surname right. Dominic Dijakovic and the mystery 4th person.
Yep.
Fucking Kevin Owens, man. He rocks up. Oh man, like that. There's a little clip on Twitter of him just before he goes through the curtain. I love it, man. It's that psych up. It's that confidence. Like this is a man that knows what's up. He knows what he's doing. He's like, boom, and then I popped so
everything's so
hard.
good here. Everything's so good. They delivered so perfectly. They used his NXT Titantron. He came out with his NXT shirt with the NXT logo on the back as well.
They let him go hard. He's done moves that you don't see on main roster.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that gnarly, I think it's like a neck breaker on the knee. Yeah.
There was so much Kevin Owens from NXT that we haven't seen on the main roster in so long. You could tell that he was having a good time. He was having a lot of fun.
Oh, you can tell he was feeling it. So
this match,
go ahead.
No, I was gonna say this match in whole, like I got to give it to the Undisputed Era, man. Like they have had a month, and then to come into War Games the way they did,
knowing that they have matches the next day.
Yeah,
and they didn't even like waver. They were like, no, we're not going to go soft. They went fucking hard.
Yeah.
So at one point there was like 17 tables in the ring. I think it was like 6. But it felt like the whole thing was just tables and everyone's just going through tables. It was absolutely brilliant.
I think Buddy said it was like clowns coming out of a car.
It was Adam Cole pulling clowns out of a clown car. It was just table. Especially after the opening War Games where they the crowd's like tables, woo! And they're like, nah, fuck you, we ain't doing it. So and then they made up for that at the back end. There were less other weapons here, but it was just primarily tables.
The one spot I will question will be the part where he pulled out one table and lent it against the.
I spotted that too. I was like, well.
He's going through it.
Yeah, I'm like, because the thing, I'm like, who's going through this? Is this 4th person that's coming in just going to rock him and like throw him in? Like, is that what it is?
Yeah, and this is where WWE kind of also make up their own rules to the whole deal, is that if a person leaves the cage, they forfeit the match. Ciampa kicked Cole through that table, left the cage. He had been in the ring during the match. He left the cage to go get Cole by... it's supposed to be a disqualification now.
But the match hadn't technically started.
Technically, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, the technicalities and doesn't sound until everybody's in the rings. There's a
he
little
could
bit of
climb out
leeway there.
He could climb out of the cage even during the first
Yeah,
5
if you
minutes.
wanted to,
then.
yeah. Climb out and then run up
yeah.
there, kick the cage in, and then come back down. Like, there's nothing saying that can't be done.
Well, the only reason that rule's in effect is because the new War Games matches don't have a ceiling on them, whereas the old ones did.
Yeah.
So they kind of had to introduce that rule. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. But as I said before, sucker for a Steiner, sucker for a Panama Sunrise.
Oh, Panama Sunrise is such a
right in the middle. It looked like to be
on
so
the
Kevin Owens
mesh.
had Cole in what looked to be so essentially a package pile driver. However, it reversed around. Panama fucking Sunrise blows apart Kevin Owens in the middle of the ring. Someone give me a fan, give me a towel, because I'm done.
It was a great spot.
Oh, it was absolutely brilliant. Yes, overall it was amazing. Keith Lee, was Keith Lee in this? Yes, he was.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Keith Lee is a fucking standout.
He's a beast.
He is so good. Like, because he brings us a charm and a swagger that you don't get all that often. Like, the second that cage opened and he walked out and we just hear, bask in his glory from the crowd, I'm like, this dude is over. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't watch, because NXT for me is I watch it when I can. I normally leave it for a couple of weeks and I watch them all in a row. Mm-hmm. So I have not really seen the rise of Keith Lee.
Oh yeah.
But so apparently there was a time where he wasn't getting booked and he was just losing and
yeah, that's what I heard too.
Yeah, and then comes out now and he's like so over.
Well, apparently he's been eyed to move to the main roster like within the month.
Well, yeah, apparently Vince is a fan.
Yeah.
So it might be rad. I think there's a spot for him up there. I think because I was watching with a friend of mine, and he's like, yeah, he reeks of old WWE in a good way. As he's got that, he just feels like an old wrestler.
He looks like a Mark Henry, yeah.
Yeah, someone called him. Yeah, he called him Mark Henry. I was like, oh, cool. Thankfully, he doesn't have that little mini hard dick that fucking Mark Henry does. So that should be all right. Man, that guy really need to wear underpants under that little tight. Just saying.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the match did finish with Ciampa, Cole, top of the cage. Beautiful. Like, Adam Cole was wrapped around the back of Ciampa. Big drop right into the two tables. 1, 2, 3. Team Ciampa wins.
Yes.
Dude, watch it. When I first saw that spot, I'm like, Ciampa, your neck is fucked. What do you do? Obviously, you're safe to compete, but like, you can't take this risk. You nearly lost your career. But then watching the replay, like that was the safest that could have possibly been.
Yeah.
The way
I thought the same thing.
Yeah, the way that like Ciampa had Cole's neck locked, the way where he was sitting on Ciampa's back, it actually held his neck in place. The big brunt was on the shoulders of Cole. It was perfect. Like, that is the safest drop you could have done.
Yeah, they certainly knew what they were doing, especially with that drop. I watched it over and over again, to be honest, after I saw it, because it was such a great spot, and the way that they landed was perfectly done.
Yeah.
And I got to give it to Cole on that one too, because he definitely helped protect Ciampa on that too.
Yeah, it was good. It was good work on both their parts. Like, they landed in the right spot. Both were protected. It was absolutely perfect. And once again, I absolutely erupted in my house.
I got to give it to Britt Baker as well for selling.
Oh my god! Holy shit! Right. So for those that don't know, at the end of the match, as Adam Cole's lying there and like dead, they shoot to Britt Baker, who is from AEW, also the partner of Adam Cole, sitting there looking shocked and concerned. And I love the official word from WWE was they're like, oh, we just put the camera on whoever was the most concerned.
We didn't know who that was. Yeah.
We have no idea who that was. We just showed the most concerned woman in the crowd. Like,
yeah, right.
I do like, because it is a little kick in the dick. It's like, oh, AEW, well, they're here at our show. We don't go to their show, but they come to ours. Sure.
Yeah, we'll wait till somebody turns up and WWE turns around and fires them. It's happened before. With one of the tag teams that ended up going to a TNA show, and they put them on camera and they were like, please don't show me on camera. And then, WWE decided to fire them.
They're not petty. What are you talking about?
It was funny to see Britt Baker getting shown on WWE TV, but at the same time, it was good for her to sell the moment as well on TV and make it not like, oh my God, ha 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 ha, you know, so.
Like, I do wonder, because if you follow, like, Renee Young on Twitter, like, when you watch, was it at Full Gear, like, it's almost like that Mox didn't word her in on what was going to go down, because her responses were brilliant. So, like, I do wonder whether the same was done here. Cole's like, look, I'm going to take some bumps. I'm not going to tell you what they are, but I'm going to take some bumps.
Oh yeah, for sure. They don't tell their partners. Of course,
that's the best part about it. Like watching Renee just like erupt on Twitter was so good, and like looking at Britt here, you know, there's absolutely
of course.
But look, this is an easy question, Dash. But how, using our not so patented Kurt Angle system, how do you rate NXT TakeOver?
I give it 2 Tommaso Ciampa's.
Oh, because NXT, 2 Ciampas. I like
NXT,
it.
man. I'll give it two Kurt Angles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm in the same boat. Straight up 2 Kurt Angles, unquestionably. I couldn't give it anything less. If I could give it more, I'd give it more.
I mean, I know we talked a little bit of shit about it in terms of some of the matches in between the War Games, but there was nothing there that I could honestly bring it down a point. Like, even though there was that feeling, that sense of they kind of dropped the ball with the Balor match because it didn't narratively fit there, just was something that they kind of threw together at last minute. Hey, they still delivered. Balor and Riddle delivered, and so did, you know, the women in the War Games match. They delivered so well. I just can't give it anything less. The Pete Dunne match, like, I can't give it anything less than 2 thumbs up, man. 2 Kurt Angles.
Yeah, like, for me, it comes down to, look, within retrospect, the story stuff doesn't land. But when I watched it, when I was in the moment, how did I feel about it? I enjoyed every minute of it, like literally every minute of it. So that's how I tend to rate it. Like, how did it go? Did my enjoyment ever get broken? Did I check my phone? No. From like front to back, like, it was solid. It was absolutely brilliant. No complaints at all. But let us know what you thought of NXT TakeOver WarGames. And those comments below, social medias and all those places. But as we mentioned, NXT weren't done this weekend. They were heading into Survivor Series, the first ever Raw versus SmackDown versus NXT. Big fucking triple threats up the butthole.
That's it.
There's a lot to take in here for NXT Survivor Series. Now, going into Survivor Series, how are you feeling?
Yeah.
So
I was excited NXT was getting involved, but it wasn't the first time the Survivor Series had that triple threat element when, you know, they involved the ECW all those years ago. But it was just it was there.
Look, using the reference I had before, I had the Mark Henry mini hard dick. I was super keen. Like, all the NXT invasion stuff really did it for me. Like, having them all come out and just like wreck shop was brilliant. It could obviously, there were some times it could have been better, but for what we were given,
we discussed this as well. Yeah. Like, I said that the Raw, and like, they missed it narratively, and I know that buddy on Twitter disagree with me, but he can shut up. I feel like at the end of War Games, there was a missed opportunity to have Raw and SmackDown come out and narratively put NXT over for the next night, or even put themselves over for the next night. Because it would have been perfect opportunity for Raw and SmackDown to come out and completely wipe the fucking floor with NXT. And then with the result that we get, which we're about to explain, would have made NXT look even better.
Yeah, damn right.
So,
yeah, look, so I agree with you in something. I wouldn't have liked to have seen it on the pay-per-view. I think ending it the way it did was pretty on point. However, if it was like the stream cuts, NXT, you know, they invade, and then we see this, you know, scuttlebutt on the Twitters. It's like, holy shit, Raw and SmackDown just got here and they just laid everybody out.
Yeah, it would have been great.
Like, wait, what do you mean? And then we see all the cell phone footage, and then they eventually released it on social media within like the next couple of hours. Like, that's all. Like, that would have been a good sell, 'cause especially WWE are very much on how they use social media within this space. So, like, why not? Right?
They want to get those buy rates up, man.
Yeah, they could have done it here just by something very simple. Now, I understand, was it the exact same arena?
It was, yeah. They were in the exact same arena.
Yeah, so like Friday. Everyone's around. Like, it's not as if they're too far away, unless it's anyone from like SmackDown who would have had a show the night before.
Yeah, that's right.
Like that'd be the only people that would have been quiet, but that would have been awesome. I would have really enjoyed that.
I
would have
agree.
really, really enjoyed that. But anyway, let's have a chat about Survivor Series. There were a couple matches in the kickoff show, which is great because kickoff show was only 2 hours long this time.
I didn't watch it.
Fuck. Yeah, 2 hour kickoff show is absolutely bonkers. AEW with their like 45-minute one is way better.
Yeah.
But there was 3 matches and they counted. They technically counted to the score.
They always do, yeah.
Not always. Last year, they were like, Raw run shop. No, they didn't. SmackDown won the kickoff match. So they actually removed it.
Oh, yeah, you're right. They did too.
Yeah, because the New Day got the win and it wasn't counted.
Yeah, fair enough.
First up, they did have a tag team battle royal. So it's just pretty much any tag team that wasn't doing anything. Just throw them in there. So there was like the OC, Heavy Machinery, Imperium rocked up, which was rad. Just a bunch of tag teams given a go. Now, the tag team I always mention for some reason, even though I don't give two shits about them, like the Ascension, they weren't there. Why are they never around? What are they doing? AOP weren't in it, which is good because I think they could do better. But, there could have been a cheap shot to bring them in and just lay out people. But yeah, so that did eventually end with Dolph Ziggler, Robert Roode coming out with the win, eliminating pretty much everybody. So the idea was that it wasn't over the top battle royal, but whoever if you were the OC and Carl Anderson got thrown out, Luke Gallows, you're out too. Like it wasn't like one on one. Like if that tag team, one of them got out, they were all out.
All right.
Interesting idea, not too bad. Oh, we got the Forgotten Sons were in there as well, which I'm a big fan of the Sons. I think they look great. Like Cutler is a scary looking dude.
Yeah.
And they were the first to be eliminated too, which was super, super weird. Then Lucha House Party were eliminated, followed by Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins, Imperium, Heavy Machinery, Breezango, which was rad, Revival, and then the OC, then the Street Profits. Then obviously, the winners were, as we said.
I didn't know that Breezango was still doing their thing.
NXT. Yeah, they're both down there doing their thing. Cool. So that's 1 point to SmackDown.
That's correct. Yeah.
So yeah, it was over. It was all right. I was busy. I was making. What was I doing? I was at work.
So you weren't even watching the pre-show?
No, I was. No. Not really. No. I was aware of it.
Okay, fair enough, yeah.
Next up was the Cruiserweight Championship match, which was interesting that this got thrown into a triple threat last minute. So it was Lio Rush representing NXT, Kalisto versus representing SmackDown, and Akira Tozawa as Raw.
This one was too predictable because the Cruiserweight Championship is now known as the NXT Cruiserweight Championship, no longer the WWE Cruiserweight Championship. So to kind of have Tozawa and Kalisto in there was like, they don't care about moving these guys over to NXT, so it's not going to happen. Yeah,
and seeing as both Tozawa and Lucha House Party were actively mentioned for some reason in the draft, it's like, so these guys are considered slightly more important commodities for some reason. So it's not as if they're going to then move over to NXT. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, exactly.
Like if it was, Lio Rush versus two people that weren't drafted that just picked the place they went to, there would be a bit more stake in it, which is fine.
Correct, yeah.
But there wasn't. So that's it's right. So the win did go to Lio Rush, who did defeat Kalisto, who got the pin on Kalisto. Tozawa went all right, man. I haven't seen a lot of him, and he went hard. It was good.
Cool.
I do quite like it.
He's all right. I don't mind Tozawa. He's a good wrestler, but WWE don't know what to do with him. So
yeah, and I'd agree with that. Yeah. Then final on the kickoff show. So that's one NXT, one to SmackDown. Tag Team Championship match, Tag Team Champions match, Undisputed Era representing NXT, The New Day representing SmackDown, and the Viking Raiders representing Raw.
Right.
This had the potential to be a really good match. I thought it was going to be I thought it was going to be really, really good. Disappointed that it didn't make it onto the main card, but seeing as the main card ended up wrapping about 3.5 hours, I was pretty happy. I'd be much happier with 3.5 hours than I would have been with 4+. So not too bad that was put onto the kickoff.
Yeah, correct. I caught the end of it. Wasn't too happy with it.
Yeah, interesting result. Viking Raiders getting the pin on the Undisputed Era.
Yeah. Would have rather those guys got the win.
I personally predicted Viking Raiders on New Day for the result.
Okay.
I felt I had a feeling Viking Raiders would be put over just because they're trying to be these big, strong guys. The New Day can take that hit and still come out strong.
Yeah, definitely.
Because they're big fans of everyone's a big fan of the New Day.
I don't think that the Undisputed Era could though, especially coming off their loss the previous night.
That's why I thought they wouldn't get the pin. They would come out as like, they got thrown out, and then Viking on New Day. Like that's why I thought keep Undisputed safe. Like they didn't take the pin here, but it was very weird. I found for them to take the pin here.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah, main card time. We had the Women's Survivor Series match, the 5-on-5-on-5-on-5-on-5-on-5-on-5.
Great.
Do we have the full list here? Because I don't remember them.
I do.
Please listen.
Team NXT was Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, Candice LeRae, Io Shirai, and Toni Storm versus Team Raw, Charlotte Flair, Natalya, Asuka, Kairi Sane, and Sarah Logan versus Team SmackDown, Sasha Banks, Carmella, Dana Brooke, Lacey Evans, and Nikki Cross. No.
I was very happy to see Sarah Logan because I have a bit of a soft spot for Sarah Logan.
Yeah, it was great to see her showcased for once.
Yeah, a little bit of a soft spot because I really did thought once Ruby Riott was off injured that she would join the Raiders as like a stable almost. Sort of because she is married to Eric. So I thought it would be cool to have her involved, seeing as she has that similar Viking-esque gimmick. That never seemed to happen. Instead, she just fights Dana Brooke on main event. So okay,
I agree. Yeah.
So it was cool to see her have a spot here. I'm happy. I was very happy with that. Very happy with the NXT team. Was pretty much on point. I had yet to see Toni Storm before, just because I didn't watch the UK. Very pleased with her.
I agree.
What else?
Look, I think that if anything, the match was great. The delivery was fine. The surprise element of having some of like two Aussies in there was just fucking phenomenal.
This weekend, like I am never patriotic. As far as I'm concerned, sometimes Australia can just go fuck itself. But I got not teary patriotic, but I got emotionally moved patriotic this weekend.
Same.
Like Ripley getting, help getting the win on TakeOver, coming out here, Ripley, Adelaide. And we got Toni Storm with the Gold Coast. Like, I got welled up, to say the least. I was like, fucking Australia.
Yeah, same. It was great.
So a couple big key spots here. Bianca Belair delivering like three eliminations in a row. I think maybe in two. Charlotte Flair, Asuka getting into a bit of biff. Asuka green misting. Charlotte was great. No one tapped in Natalya like at all for the longest time. No. I thought that was hysterical, and like the only way she got in because there was no one left.
Like the end of the match, you could just see her face like the fuck.
It mirrors something that I noticed in the men's match too, which I thought was very cool. It was great at the end. Yeah, when we had there was a moment where we had Charlotte and Sasha and Rhea, and I was like, "This is gonna be too cool."
Oh, I just remembered something. We forgot to cover on WarGames as well.
What's that?
The main event of WarGames. Like Dominik Dijakovic.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was going to bring this up and I forgot all about it. What a waste. Like, that guy, I'm sorry, but he looks like a fucking jobber. I'm sorry, mate, but you got to change up your look. Bad.
Yeah, he looks like a shitty Dolph Lundgren from, like, Rocky.
Yeah, like, bad. The haircut's terrible. The tights are awful. His look is awful. He's got the big man thing going for him. Congratulations, but shit, man. Like... the name and like if anything, if you're gonna if we're gonna go back to the one name thing, Dijakovic is a good name, I guess, but he just screams jobber. So Dominik Dijakovic, nah.
Yeah, because I thought his name was Damien Dijakovic for a little bit, so
Okay.
it proves that his name means nothing. Like his surname is what is relatively more important here because there's a bit of ring to it. But that's cool.
Yeah, exactly.
So one thing that did happen is Io Shirai and Candice LeRae took a bump outside enough to have all the refs come in. I was like, oh, there was a moment where I'm like, is this a work? Like it got a little bit too real. It's a little bit. I was like
too muddled at one point.
I was like, oh, there's too many bodies out here for this to be fake.
Yeah,
but
I agree.
I didn't see them take a huge bump. Like maybe they're keeping them safe because they got jacked up at WarGames. Okay, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
So eventually it did end up with Rhea Ripley by herself with Sasha Banks. And then sure enough, Io and Candice leg it in. Candice distracts on the ref. Io does this awesome springboard, incredible springboard missile drop kick. Just blows apart Sasha Banks' face, drops her down. Ray 1, 2, 3, win NXT. Best result they could have had here. Absolutely best result.
Congratulations
to NXT and Straya.
Yeah,
fucking Straya. Man, I was hoping her would stop the C-bomb at some point. I thought it'd be absolutely fine. Like just for true blue strain, like NXT C-word. I kicked the shit out of you, right?
It was a good match. But yeah, definitely some muddled points in it. I like the ending. I like the finish. Good match. Good match all around.
Then we get a batch. What the hell? A backstage segment with Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens being like, "Hey man, I saw you at WarGames. Are you on my team?" Kevin Owens is like, "Can you fuck off?"
Yeah, wasted narrative, in my opinion. Wasted narrative.
Yeah. So Owens was on the lines of look, I went over there to jack up Undisputed Era. Only reason tonight I am Team Raw.
Yeah. And he's like, Mr. Shield over here, and you're trying to tell me that I'm a turncoat? Fuck off.
Excuse me. Next, mid-card champions, the Roderick Strong of NXT, Shinsuke Nakamura of SmackDown, and AJ Styles of Raw.
That's correct.
Wasn't too bad.
It was all right. I'm glad that Roddy Strong took out the win, though. I was surprised by it. I was so glad that he did.
Baffled by this result.
Well, I wasn't. Mainly because I know that they've got a bit of a machine behind Roddy Strong at the moment. I was more than happy for him to take away the win, mainly because Undisputed Era really didn't have the best 24 hours leading into the event. And then when they lost the tag match in the pre-show, I was like, oh man, I really hope that not every single member of Undisputed Era is going to fucking lose. And then we have Adam Cole basically retain. That just makes it look like the rest of the team are weak, and then they're going to have this narrative going into NXT that Adam Cole took the win and the lead for NXT. I'm glad that
Undisputed Era's Adam Cole is that that would be a concerned story going in.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm glad that Roddy Strong got the win.
Yeah. So for those who don't know, with my day job, we do the monthly viewings of the pay-per-views, and we do tipping like we do football, and the winner gets a belt.
Yeah.
I was because I normally throw some of my picks just because I'm knowledgeable on wrestling. I can't win.
Your secret's safe with me.
I can't win the belt on these guys. That sounds dirty. As a facilitator, I shouldn't win the belt. So I was like, Roderick Strong. I don't see it happening.
Really?
I think we'd get AJ versus Shinsuke because I just thought one of these two would get the win. It made sense.
I actually had a strong feeling that, pun intended, that Roddy Strong was going to win this one.
I was pretty positive it was going to be Shinsuke, actually. I thought with Sami Zayn ringside, there would have been some shit. And on top of that, with the new belt design, I thought they may have been pushing the IC, especially with Shinsuke. So, when I was like, I'll pick Rodney. Oh, fuck. Yeah, it turned real quick. And
you put yourself into
I
that
did, and because there's some other events that happened a little bit later that kind of forced me to take the win. And not just take the win, fucking stomp him. I was like, because we added some stipulate. Normally we just go with the matches, but I was like, let's add extra points in these triple threat matches. Who do you think? Who do you think will take the pin? So you think this person's going to win? Who's going to cop the pin? And I guessed a couple, and I just nailed it. I was like, I agree. No. Like shit. Like I guess Roger. I was like, well, I guess like Roderick Strong, and he's gonna pin. I don't know, fucking Shinsuke. Sure. Yeah. And then it's like, bam! I'm like, fuck, that's 2 points. Come on, because AJ. I'm like AJ Styles is not gonna get the. He's not gonna get the pin here. Like he's gonna be looking good. Like why would they do that? Now knowing what happens on Raw this week, because I saw back. Exactly. I thought they could have given him the pin here. Like now in hindsight, why didn't they make him take the pin?
That's right.
Overall, I enjoyed it. It was fine.
It was alright.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. NXT Championship match: Adam Cole, baby, versus Pete Dunne for the NXT Championship. It went
solid match.
Yeah, it went exactly as I anticipated, which was Adam Cole coming out by pinfall. Correct.
Yeah, that was a solid match. I got not much to say about it. They've had plenty of matches in the past where have been better. There wasn't any memorable spots in it. Other than, Panama Sunrise getting hit. Roddy Strong. Pete Dunne is a great submission grappler and everything, but didn't really get that many spots in here. Mm-hmm. He got the standard, finger crack spot.
I'm not a fan of the finger work by Dunne. Like I just
fair enough.
Because there's that weird, like, in terms of a kayfabe believability. If he fucked up their fingers, they can't compete.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Like if it's more like he dislocates them, he bends them back, but like he broke his fingers. Like
it will get to that point, Betson. That's the thing. Like there will be a point where that will happen, and they'll have to turn around and be like, that's got to stop now.
Yeah, it's just like, I know obviously it's a pretend break, but I mean like kayfabe wise, like if his fingers are jacked, he's out. They won't be competing next week. They won't be competing the week after. So it's just tough for me to fall into that, because I'm a mark and I can't believe that.
Yeah, that's always been the thing with WWE though. Like they take those risks, and then when they fail or something happens and somebody gets hurt, they're like, no more. Because what was a good?
What's like pile drivers? Like only Taker and Kane can do them.
Yeah, a good example of this is Rusev as well. When Rusev started, he was wrestling in just like barefoot.
Yeah.
He broke his foot, and Vince said to him, "You're going to start wearing boots from next week or for when you get back."
Mm-hmm.
It's essentially one of those things where if something happens, they put the kibosh on it, and that's essentially what will eventually happen with this move. Because I believe that there will be a case where Pete Dunne will break somebody's hand, and he'll be like, "Nah, that's not going to happen on the main roster or on NXT anymore because you're injuring people."
Yeah, and that's a real concern because hands are important. Yeah. Hands are really cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Big fan. Next up, Universal Championship match. The Fiend Bray Wyatt against Daniel Bryan.
I'm not even sure if I want to talk about this match. Look, I'm already over Bray Wyatt.
Mm.
The whole red lighting bullshit is just... They need to stop that. Can I swear?
Yeah, I've been swearing non-stop. It's fine.
They need to stop this fucking bullshit with this red light. If they can change the belt from a red belt, they can change the lighting from fucking red too. Because it's ruining the experience of just sitting there and watching it. It hurts my eyes watching this fucking...
The one benefit that we have watching it at home is we can look at the wall and be like, all right, let's bring my eyes back to center. If you're in that building, it's like looking into one of those Nintendo things.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I made that tweet. I made that tweet to the WWE on Fox account. That I didn't realize the WWE Network app was now released on the Virtual Boy.
Virtual Boy, that's it. Yeah.
It's terrible. It's terrible to watch. And even for the people who are in the arena, they'd be like, I can't say anything. I hate it. And there've been experiences even where they did it at Hell in a Cell and people were like, the cage is red, the lighting's red. How the fuck are we supposed to watch this match? And then I just gotta say the performances here were just terrible. This is the first time I can say this about a Daniel Bryan match, but this match was I hated it, and I think that plays in part of how limited Bray Wyatt is right now, and the character. They really had something magical going with his character for a while there. When that first Fiend entrance was made, and the chills that people had watching that, the magic is gone. The illusion is gone, mainly because now they've given him that belt too quickly.
Just to appease demand.
Yeah. And now we're at a point where we've got that experience now. Who gives a fuck what he's doing? I don't care. He's already had the belt. Like, if he loses it tomorrow, I couldn't really give a shit about him getting pushed back to the belt.
The issue that I still think the Fiend character is awesome. I still love the Firefly Funhouse parts. They really dig it for me. However, I do have, same as you, like, reservations here. It comes down to a couple of different things. If the storytelling, if Seth Rollins, with all those 37 curve stomps and throwing him into a pit of pyro, and like all
Smash
these,
him with
hit him in the head with a hammer, and like none of these things putting him down.
Yeah.
What made us believe that Daniel Bryan could do it?
Yeah, exactly.
That's the issue. That's the issue that we're facing here. Like, and the fact that he's got the belt, it's like, who is going to take this off him?
Yeah.
Who?
Yeah,
there is no one as it stands right now that can take this off him, and it's.
Yep.
Because even Brock, who we'll get to in a minute, Brock has moments where you're like, this he could walk away from the belt here. Like, he probably could lose it. Where what they're telling you with the Fiend being this unstoppable machine, which is kind of a cool storyline. I like it as the horror movie villain that they were going for with Hell in a Cell.
Yep.
The ending's a little bit shitty still, but I like where they were going. Like, he is unstoppable. The only problem with that is anyone that comes after him, then what? You know, because if you think about horror movie sequels, if you think about Friday the 13th, what happens at fucking Friday the 13th 11? Are they going to go to? Is the Fiend going to go to space? Is he going to hell? Like, what are they going to do here? Who is the one to take it off him? Because I do see him having it until at least WrestleMania.
Yeah.
You know. Fantasy book here, like beautiful, you know, like indulgent booking, undertake, like, you know, it builds up to a point where the only person that can take on this supernatural being is not supernatural being, and it's fucking Taker, and it's a retirement match. That's the only way it's going to go, because I refuse to believe that anybody else could take him on, unless they do like a 3-on-1 handicap or something. But even then,
look, I think it's all unbelievable, because just because he changed gimmick and now wears a mask doesn't mean that he's invincible. It's still the same guy.
Yeah, I'm willing to suspend my disbelief on that, because the way I feel they're telling it is like, you know, Bray Wyatt in the Funhouse is old Bray Wyatt. This is something external. This is something different, and the fact that we've very rarely seen regular Wyatt outside of the Funhouse plays into that a little bit, I think.
I can't separate myself from the old Bray Wyatt to the new one.
Yeah, I guess that's from you watching,
and that's mainly because they still call him Bray Wyatt, even though they've attached the Fiend to him. He's still Bray Wyatt. So
yeah, there was a while where they just called him the Fiend, and now it's the Fiend Bray Wyatt, and it kind of takes that pump away from it. Saying that though, a couple of minor things I really enjoyed. I really enjoyed him walking in with the belt around his neck, because it nicely obscured a ton of his face. I think that really added to the look. Then on top of that, they had the strobe lighting. So even though the around him was lit, very dull lit, but by having, because you could see people in the crowd moving at regular motion, but by putting the strobe light on him as he entered the ring, and it gave him a different look.
That horror effect.
Yeah, it was very, because by seeing that juxtaposition of the people in the crowd moving fine, him jittering about, it was very cool. Something like a digital interference in real life. It was very cool. Yeah. That start I like. I guarantee on TV it looks brilliant. In the arena, it's a dude holding a torch in front of him. It's not
fucking ass.
Yeah, it looks like asshole. I guarantee. Yeah. But yeah, look, I wasn't super sold, only because like I honestly couldn't believe Daniel Bryan would do it. We saw the return of the Yes Movement. That's kind of
big shit.
Like, we once again, like they're testing the waters. Like a WWE show here in Melbourne, they had him do Yes Chance, and it went over something fierce.
Yeah, it still will. That's the thing. Like, when he brings it back, it will be proper like over. But this match just didn't do it. It was just so bad, and worst match of the night, man. Oh, actually, yeah, we'll hold that.
Yeah, I'll hold that thought on that one. Yeah, next up, the men's elimination match. Do you have those teams for me, Dash?
I do. So Team SmackDown had the big dog.
The big dog!
Roman Reigns Braun Strowman, King Corbin, Mustafa Ali, and Shorty G, which, by the way, they're calling him Mustafa Ali again.
I love that. Also, Shorty G, that name can go fuck itself.
Versus
Chad
Team
Gable.
Raw. Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre, Kevin Owens, Randy Orton, and Rick O'Shea.
Daddy Orton. He's Daddy on this show.
Daddy Orton, that's for you, Jen. Versus Team NXT, which was Tommaso Ciampa, Damian Priest, Matt Riddle, Keith Lee, and Walter.
Man, Walter was interesting. I didn't see that happening, but I enjoyed it.
When they announced Walter to be part of the team right up from the get-go, it was great, but they didn't utilize him to his full potential during the match.
I thought he got taken out real fast.
I wanted to see some fucking chops.
Yeah, man. Like, he got up right up into like Drew McIntyre shit, but it wasn't enough.
And Drew McIntyre smacked him back something.
Yeah, like he was red.
Walter is known for those chops, but shit almighty, did Drew McIntyre just fucking smack him back hard. By the way, for Raw, because I know you're going to be discussing Raw tomorrow night with Jen. With Jem. Yeah, Jesus Christ, man. With Jem. Dude, the fucking chops that Drew McIntyre laced out on Randy Orton today. If you haven't seen it yet, Betson, you have to. Like, Randy Orton sold the fuck out of these chops today. And you should, like, they broke. Their faces broke during the match. Like, Orton, like, the first chop that McIntyre hit Orton with, Orton went down. And he was like... like that, right? And Orton got up and was like, okay, bang. And McIntyre was just like, and then he was like, okay, let's show each other how much we're men, right? And it's like, bang again. And Orton was like, he literally put his hand on his ear. He was like, oh my God, I think I'm deaf. And he was like,
so were they just awesome crackers as well?
Oh, dude, it was so loud and like it echoed, and everybody in the crowd, you should have seen the crowd's faces during these chops. They were like, oh my God. And then just Drew McIntyre's face, you could tell that he was trying not to laugh so hard, because Orton was doing such a top job selling it. Like, Orton was putting on a bit of a comedy show as well. He was trying to make McIntyre laugh, you could tell. And McIntyre was just like, oh my God, I'm about to laugh. It was such a great spot. But yeah, you and Jen will definitely talk about it.
Yeah, look, I'm enjoying Randy Orton right now because I listen. If you haven't, go check out After the Bell. It's really cool, regardless of Corey Graves' current issues, which I'm sure we'll get to later. The show's really cool. He had like this semi-shoot interview with Randy, and because he just signed a 5-year deal with WWE, so he's not gone anywhere. But recently he'd been talking, been getting like itty with AEW, and it's like Corey's like, "What are you doing talking AEW?" He's like, "I just wanted to start some shit." Like I did.
Oh, did he really?
It's like I just wanted to do it. Like it's because I could. And
did they really acknowledge AEW?
Yeah,
on the show?
Dude. Credit to Corey on the show. They acknowledge AEW like by name. Like he almost gives zero shits. Like he uses all the words, the no words. You know what I mean? Good. It's actually worth.
I think he's been given the A-OK.
Yeah, totally worth. So. Yeah, because once again, it blurs that kayfabe line, and it's really dope because of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's all true. So, in terms of this elimination match, it was all right. Yeah, I didn't hate it. I thought it was. I didn't love it. Well, actually, I loved one moment of it. Yeah. But yeah, anything that stood out to you?
More the negatives than the positives, which is unfortunate. Kevin Owens being eliminated too early was another thing as well. They didn't really play that whole NXT narrative off, which would have been great, because it would have been a perfect spot for Owens to kind of, and it would have also led to what's going to happen when you guys talk about Raw tomorrow. It would have been a great moment for Owens to kind of turn on Raw, but not also leave Raw. It would have been a good moment for him to basically turn on Seth or whoever was in the ring, and then basically leave. There was a lot of missed opportunity within the match. There was also a missed opportunity for its placement on the card as well, which we'll probably talk about when we wrap up. But it was one of those things where there was some great moments, but I think that in terms of spots, it's nothing that we don't see on TV. And that's always the thing about Survivor Series 5-on-5 matches. They're always the pre-finishers that get that finishing spot to kind of pick up the pace, because the match was only 29 minutes 25 seconds, and you got 5-on-5-on-5. You have to like have those fast-paced eliminations throughout the match at some point.
I didn't, from my memory, because I watched about 24 hours ago at this point, I didn't feel like they had that spot fest moment where everyone kind of gets a go, which the women did, which was great. That, you know, I didn't feel it. I don't remember it having this, but I could be wrong. But the fact that I can't remember it may say something.
There wasn't any of that.
One thing I did love, very early on, Reigns got fucking sucker punched, and then they proceeded to punch him whenever he got near the ropes. Like, for the whole match, every time he's like, ugh! And then scuffle, tags. He'd get back up in the ring, and it's like, and then he gets down again, and then eventually he's lying on the ring side. He gets up, and then someone slide kicks him from the side. Like, they were giving him no chance to get in, and from it's kind of weird storytelling, I guess, but like I was instantly sold on him just getting suckered the whole way through.
Yeah, the whole narrative between him with Roman and Corbin at the moment as well played in part perfectly with Roman turning on Corbin, but it was one of those moments also where I was like, this is too predictable. I know that this is going to happen, and he's going to hit a Superman punch on him and spear him, and then it happened, and I was like, there it is. So
yeah, for me it was like, because I had the same thing. I'm like, then it happened. I'm like, I'm okay with it. Yeah. As much as I love King Corbin and I hate him mostly just because he's a piece of shit, and he just because he makes the internet mad. It's the only reason I love him. Part of me was like, yeah, you take that spear, piece of shit.
Corbin does a great job, but it was just the fact that they kind of buried him a little bit in this match. So
yeah, he's kind of he's been that guy. They've buried him on numerous occasions, like the GM stuff. Like they have no issue throwing him under the bus.
No, of course not.
The big spot for me that I got really super stoked on was last minute, last two men, Keith Lee, Roman Reigns, that spirit bomb. Roman bounced like 1.5 meters.
Yeah, it was great.
It was so fucking good. I was positive that Keith Lee was going to get the win here. I'm like, man, if they put him over Roman, like Roman puts him over, holy shit, would that be huge.
The pinfall attempt before that as well, which was the one that right after Corbin was eliminated too, where Roman pinned Lee, and then like the referee counts 1, 2, and you hear the referee.
There was a third hit, but his shoulders were up before the third.
But yeah, his shoulder hit. The timing was impeccable. It was so good, and like you hear just Corey over the commentary, like that was a 3. That there was no way. I wanted to see different angles. Give me all the angles.
With the replay, yeah,
perfect. I loved it. Every single I got to give it to Corey Graves. Yes, he's been doing some shitty things lately on social media, but he knows how to sell moments on commentary.
He does. He's good at his job. He is good at his job.
Very good at his job.
Unlike Jerry, look, it's a good episode of Young and the Restless without it. Fuck you, Jerry Lawler. Can you not be around ever? Spoilers for Raw. He thinks Ric Flair's dead.
Oh my God.
There's the match between Charlotte Flair and Asuka.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh man, Ric Flair, her dad would be looking down on her for,
he's fucking around.
No, but the way that Joseph goes, King, he's very much alive.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, fuck, I hate you so much, you piece of shit.
Yeah. The commentary on Raw right now is atrocious.
Where's Dion Madden, by the way? Hey, DirtSheet Dash, where's Dion Madden?
I've got no clue.
If they pissed him off so, like, you can get the two-man team like SmackDown, they pulled the wrong person.
Well, I'd argue that. I'd still say that Jerry Lawler has more value than Dion Madden on commentary.
Yeah, to like seniors.
Yeah, I that's something that AEW's got a problem with right now in their commentary team. I love JR, I love Tony Schiavone, but the old days of wrestling have passed, and we don't kind of need that to sell.
Saying that though, but this is a topic for another day. But like the way JR still delivers, it's
fantastic.
He's brilliant. He's absolutely fantastic, and I think they're trying to do that over here with Raw and Lawler, and it's not landing because it's not. The same.
It's not.
Because JR is surrounded by two other incredible commentators that fill those gaps. Like JR, you can tell that he's aware that he's not quite there at the moment, or he's still getting there.
Definitely.
So thankfully,
there's definitely
Shivani's
moments where you can say to JR, your WWE is showing. I mean, to call...
Yeah, but like Shivani goes hard, and then Excalibur fills the gaps. It's absolutely perfect.
100%.
Like that's a great commentary team, and it works.
Yeah, it does.
Like Joseph is good. Like I have no issue with Joseph at all. Like I find
I had no problem with Michael Cole and Graves still being Raw commentary, but like obviously Fox wanted them exclusive to SmackDown, but they're not competitors, so they could have still stayed on Raw. And, you know, Corey Graves probably earning a fucking bucket load right now because they would have turned around and told him, oh, hey, look, you're only going to be exclusive to SmackDown. Now, he would have been like, listen, you guys are paying me this much. I want to still be doing both shows. So he would have been like, okay, we'll
match
pay
my
you
pay.
the same and you do SmackDown. But at the same time, Corey Graves' delivery for both shows would have been still great. And Michael Cole, regardless of what people think of him right now, is still the best that they've got in the WWE. They really do need that experience right now on Raw because it is lacking so much on commentary.
Having Joe in there the other week was awesome. Joe's solid, man.
Yeah.
And like I thought, like maybe if Madden's out, like put Joe in there while he's injured. You know,
it's a perfect CM Punk role when Punk was commentating on Raw for a couple months while he was injured. I don't know why they didn't continue it. At the same time as well, it's like they really are lacking within commentary on Raw. Raw is just really the shit show right now, and they've sold that.
Yeah, and the issue that they're having is that Lawler is making Joseph work 3 times as hard unnecessarily just to cover his shitty calls.
They pulled Lawler off Raw years ago because it was becoming like that with him. So I don't understand why they put Lawler back on Raw, but I think it's because, honestly, AEW had JR on commentary. So they're like, okay, if you're going to have JR on commentary, we're going to have Jerry the King Lawler on commentary. It's like, no.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Wait, how did we get onto this? What were we talking about?
We're up to the Brock Lesnar versus...
yeah, that's right. Yeah, so SmackDown got the win here with Roman Reigns getting the pin. Roman Reigns winning again, okay. But... They put Keith over like something fierce. Like so, I got no complaints there. It's part of it kind of to balance out the scores, I guess. But I'm happy. I think Roman did good here.
Yes, it was a good match, but wrong place on the card.
Agreed. Next up, Rey Mysterio, Brock Lesnar, no holds barred, and for some reason they had to clarify no disqualification.
Right. I wonder why.
Hell in a Cell.
I think it was also because they were trying to sell the fact that Dominic would be involved anyway.
So in short, it kicked off. Rock and Ray going a bit of a tuffle. Ray instantly dives out to get his little lead cardboard pipe. Dominic comes out.
It was a scuffle more than a fight.
Yeah, it was a scuffle. Yeah, and then Dominic comes out with the towel, ready to throw the towel in. Brock picks it up, wrecks it out, and they just fight. Yeah. It was great.
Look, I want to make note of what happened here, which was awesome. The crowd popped, but it also killed what was going to be the main event. The crowd popped for Dominic hard during this match. His involvement here was amazing, and I got to give it to the kid. Best fucking frog splash I have seen in years.
For a new dude. Yeah, so there was a good string of events. So Brock had Dominic by the neck. Ray comes up behind. Boom, dick punch. He's all like, oh, Dominic's like, dick punch. So double dick punch, which is a big 2 thumbs up for me. Love a good dick punch. Which then led to getting him into a 619, double 619. I popped super hard. It was a good father-son moment. You know, as a dad myself, I'm like, and then we get an awesome double frog splash. The air and like
frog splash.
For someone that's super green, watching Dominic get that brilliant air, that land, and that perfect roll away.
Well, we don't know how green he really is.
Well, I mean, like, as in we've not seen him on television, right?
No.
So, like, his drop and instant roll away, like, perfect.
Yes. That chair shot as well was...
Yep. Well, yeah, the chair shot.
Like,
Sorry, the chair shot was to get him into the ropes. Yes.
yeah. That kid, though, man, I got to give it... obviously trained by a legend in Rey Mysterio. If you were a fan of the WWE product in 2005, right before Eddie Guerrero passed away, and he had that storyline with Ray and Dominic and everything about being his papi and all that shit, to see this, like, I've seen Dominic on TV, like, they showed Dominic a little bit prior to that as well on WWE TV, and then during that whole storyline, basically. To see the kid now, the way he performed in the ring yesterday, man, was that something special. Yeah. It was so good for people to see that. Just to see how the kid is actually potentially going to be a star in the future. He's already a star in the making. And he made that 619, he hit so well. It was so unexpected. I'm like, can this kid actually, like, as he was like, when that chair shot happened and he landed on the ropes, and I'm like watching them both look at each other. I'm like, what the fuck's happening here? And when Dominic hit those ropes, I'm like, oh my God, is this kid really going to hit a 619? Please don't botch. Please don't botch. And when he hit it, and it was like spot on.
Yeah, to their credit, like, they both kind of like just tippy-toed like Brock in the face. Like, like there was no like foot on foot. It was perfect. They lined up. Yeah. It was really, really great.
Magical double 619. When he went up to the top rope, there was a bit of a slip, but that's honestly, I got to give it to, like, I got to say, WWE's turnbuckles are the shittest in the whole industry. They're the unsafest turnbuckles in the industry, because if
they all move,
at a lot of companies, they have wider padding for wrestlers to jump onto and stand on. Whereas a lot of wrestlers in WWE have to kind of balance on two ropes on the side to jump. So he kind of slipped a little bit, but when he got up there, like, it was unnoticeable if you kind of look away and look again. When he jumped up there and hit that frog splash, I was like, that is the best fucking frog splash. Even better than his dad. That's the best frog splash I have seen since Eddie Guerrero, man. So good.
It's very good.
Yeah.
So sadly, Rey Mysterio did not get the win.
Still lost.
So there's a bit of distraction. Rey got into the back left corner, goes for a once again a big
some splash,
some sort of splash. Caught in the F5, dropped. I love the storytelling of this, actually, because it's the exact same thing that fucked up Kofi. Because I was watching with my friend Craig, and he's like, "Oh, this is bullshit." I'm like, "No, this is fucking good." Like, this is telling. You don't jump at Brock. If you jump at Brock, you get fucked up.
Correct.
Like, you bring him down. Like, that's what you need to do. And he made the bold move here to go airborne, and it fucked up.
Correct. Yep.
If he got the win here, and this was the main event, as I thought it was going to be, because Paul Heyman said so, and Rey got the win, holy shit.
If Rey got the win in the main event at that moment with Dominic's help like that, great ending to a pay-per-view.
Oh, man. No, like, I would have instantly changed my thoughts on this pay-per-view.
Great ending. Yeah, so it would have bumped up a rating, that's for sure.
Then finishing the night was the women's champion triple threat. Becky Lynch from Raw, Bayley from SmackDown, and Shayna Baszler from NXT.
Okay. This was the worst match of the night.
But real disappointment. Spoilers, like, so the outcome that I predicted, which also got me the fucking double points, I predicted, Shayna to get the pin on Bayley, because I thought, this one I knew the answer. I had a feeling the answer, because I have it, like, there's more story here. There's Rey is going to take the belt. Shayna's going to move to Raw. Raw and Shayna is the feud until Mania. That's how exactly. I had that feeling. And
that's what I thought,
that's exactly what we got here.
So, my thoughts quickly on this one were, this match was terribly placed on the card. There is a lot of push right now within the women in the industry to be in the main event, and I can understand that. The women are pretty strong right now within the roster. But the way that they went ahead with it really was terrible. And I believe that this whole match was underplanned in a way. It was just misplaced. It wasn't as planned as well as it should have been. And Shayna to win the match. Fantastic, by the way, that they put Shayna Baszler over. To go out to the outside of the ring, hold the belt high, like, this is NXT, we've won. Only to have Becky Lynch kind of trip her over and put her through a table and then, like, celebrate with the Raw Women's title. I'm like, they just ruined that moment.
Yeah, that's that telegraphing of what's coming next, which I think would have been better if they didn't. Because, like, you would assume if you're anyway understanding how wrestling works, like, you know that there's more feud to this. You know it.
Yes. Well, the thing is, the perfect moment would have been Shayna to win it, and then have the NXT roster just come out and, like, hoist her up. Like, yeah, you know, we may have, they won basically the night.
So we do get there. It was 4 points to NXT, 2 to SmackDown, and 1 to Raw.
Right. So that was the final tally. So, actually, you know what? If anything, they should have still done that spot, because that solidified the win, because they could have still potentially lost in a way of a default between them and between NXT and SmackDown. But the problem here was that there was none of that. There were essentially, the pay-per-view ended with the losing brand's representative being a cocky, whatever she is. I don't even know if she's heel or face, a tween or whatever she is these days, but holding her belt up like that she should be proud of something. I'm sorry, but
you and your brand lost. Yeah.
No.
I'm in the same boat here. I really didn't enjoy this as much as I feel I was going to. I did think this was going to be bigger and better. Sadly, it wasn't.
Yeah.
And so I got the outcome that I predicted, and I do think there is potential for it moving into the future. But it was slow, but not in a good way. Like, the commentary was selling it as if they're trying to be so precise because any moment of weakness will open up for somebody else. But, like, even that I didn't feel. Even the story going in, I didn't really feel. Especially with Bayley, I didn't. I instantly knew that she was going to just take the pin. If you move this 2 matches earlier, it would have been fine.
Yep.
It would have been a good palate cleanser to then go into, like, Brock and Ray and elimination, then Brock and Ray would have been okay. Even with Brock taking the win, it was still a good enough feeling that would have been gone out.
I'll be honest, I would have rather the women's match open pay-per-view. The championship match open the pay-per-view, to be honest. I know the importance of the 5-on-5 at Survivor Series is something special. I believe that if we're talking about structure, the women's champions match should have been at the start. Then it would have been like something like we could have even had the women's 5-on-5 there, but I believe that would have been good separated with maybe the Roddy Strong match.
Yep.
Next, and then afterwards the women's 5-on-5. Then basically Adam Cole versus Pete Dunne, the Fiend versus Bray Wyatt,
men,
the 5-on-5, and then Brock versus Ray at the end.
Yep. Yeah, no, I'd agree with that. It did. Yes, it had me finish the pay-per-view with a bad taste in my mouth.
Yeah,
because that is the big thing. Regardless of however the rest of the night is, if the final match is a bit dud, you do kind of go, oh, the whole pay-per-view sucks, which is the problem that you can tend to have. I certainly don't think the whole pay-per-view sucked. Yeah. Overall, I did quite enjoy myself. It's just that final match really took out.
It leaves a bad taste.
Yeah, it kind of snuffed the flame.
It's an aftertaste, and essentially, if you don't like the aftertaste of what you eat, then essentially it ruins the meal.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. Look, one other thing I want to make mention of is that there's an experiment going on right now within WWE to put the women in the main event, and that's fine. And they've experimented that this year with both WrestleMania and Survivor Series now. I can't remember. What was the main event for SummerSlam?
I have no idea.
I'm going to look that up real quick.
Look, because this is a problem that I have not a problem. It's something that post WrestleMania. Mm-hmm. I really do think Becky has been mishandled. Like I went back and watched the SmackDown Invasion with Becky last year, the one that she blew her face out of.
Yeah.
Her swagger, her presence, everything about her was immaculate. Like, she had such a groove coming into Survivor Series, and then eventually through to Mania, I was cool with. But it's just sort of like, once she got the belt, they couldn't have her be that super cocky for some reason. She had to go super weirdly face, and I don't know why.
Yeah, well, that's WWE and their marketing program. The way that they work is that if you're not a face, you don't sell as much merch.
Which makes no sense, because Becky was just
she would have been selling so much merch with that man shirt at that point too. Yeah, sorry. So the main event of SummerSlam, was Seth Rollins versus Brock. So they didn't really test the waters there. But WrestleMania, they tested the waters. I'm sorry, but it kind of under-delivered there. Everybody knew, and it was a botch finish too. A lot of people were really upset by
that dodgy crucifix.
Correct, yeah. And a lot of people were upset with that. And then we come to Survivor Series and they've tested the waters again, and people are once again upset. It's one of those experimental things right now that if you don't have the right women within that main event slot, if you don't have the right recipe, then it's just going to fall flat.
I certainly don't consider WrestleMania the main event to be a mistake. I think I enjoyed it mostly because of the whole build up of Ronda not losing, like having a perfect streak until that moment. Yes, the that dodgy pin was a bit weird because it made me go, was that the win? Having Shayna involved, having Charlotte involved was weird. I think if I was just Ronda v Becky, it would have been totally better.
I agree.
But they weren't willing to put that entire risk on. Apparently, they needed Charlotte. Yeah. We're here because it had to be a triple threat because of the nature of the show.
Yeah.
Do you reckon we'll get Becky versus Shayna TLC?
I don't want it, to be honest. Look, it's one of those things where right now I'm kind of low on Becky Lynch.
Yeah, same. I've lost my momentum for her.
Yeah. It's almost like the same way I'm feeling right now with The Fiend. She's had her moment in the sun. I think that they need to kind of build her up again. So they need to take the belt away from her for a while. Well,
she's had it for a long time now. It's been a good run. It's like 200 and something days, I think it is. That's great. Yeah, it wouldn't hurt for it to go away, but I don't know who would take it. That's the thing. And that's the difficulty. The way that WWE books is, it's near impossible to find a decent competitor.
Yeah, exactly.
In the main, because they don't. Because for some reason they're like, Vince is like, we don't have any superstars. I'm like, that's your fault, mate. Like you don't have a spread. Like if you think back to like the Attitude Era, like you had like five key people that really could have gone for the belt at any point. And so having this rotating roster of gnarly dudes that are willing to step up, which just doesn't have here. Like, once again, it still baffles me that fucking Drew McIntyre isn't in any title pictures.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, the setup was there. I was confident. I was so confident that he would win the Rumble. And then he went away. He was injured, but he went away. And
yeah. What's funny about Mania, I'm sorry we're jumping all the way back to Mania, is that with the match the way it was we had a match like AJ versus Orton, which was classified as match of the night. Even Shane versus Miz had what they classified as match of the night. We still kind of had that structure where they were like very happy to put Ronda at the main event because that's what they wanted to do. They wanted to put Ronda at the main event. We come to Survivor Series again, and we've kind of had that same effect again, where the main event kind of just fell flat, and it really puts into question right now where the direction is for the women's roster. And right now, like, once again, I just don't feel that Becky Lynch really deserves that spot. It's disheartening because she fought her way there, especially like rebranding her character and everything, and she did so well. Even the win at Mania was not a great payoff because that's the one where people really wanted her to win because it was for the double belt. But because of the botched finish and everything else, it kind of ruined everything. It ruined her momentum, everything. It just,
Look, I do certainly still feel that WWE's roster women's roster has the most potential.
Oh yeah,
compared even to the likes of AEW. It's just there's enough women here that are of skill that they, if handled better, would be unstoppable.
Yeah, 100%. I'm with you there.
But anyways, that does bring us to the end of Survivor Series. Dash, we're using the not so patented Kurt Angles. Where would you put this one?
Probably give it 1 Kurt Angle. I would have, if the main event was good, I would have probably given a Kurt and a bar. If they didn't end it the way they did, it would have been a Kurt and a bar. But yeah, definitely just a Kurt.
Yeah, I'm a Kurt and a bar for me personally, mostly because like that main event is probably the only thing that I really soured on. Everything else seemed to deliver in some way.
I think you've been generous, but yeah.
Oh yeah, I've totally been. Like, yeah, it's just like, once again, this because we approach wrestling differently. Like you do have that critical eye, and I guess I'm starting to, but it is there. But a lot of it comes down to how did I feel as I watched it? Where do I sit? And as I was watching this, I'm like, yeah, no, this was great. I enjoyed this. I enjoyed this. I enjoyed this. That was kind of iffy. Did it ruin the whole momentum of the match? No, not really. You know, yeah. So overall, it was pretty fine. But as we do end our shows, we do end it with our dirt sheet from that man there. That's DirtSheet Dash. So this is the first ever live DirtSheet Dash. None of this getting it by like, you know, signed delivery, FedEx, you know, under lock and key briefcase shit. Right. Which then goes to my phone. But we have him in studio to tell us the dirt. Come on, Dash.
Yes,
what do you got for us?
I promise I won't stumble my words like Dave Meltzer.
Fucking Meltzer.
Oh, Jesus Christ. It's fucking hard to keep up with him. Yeah, do you want me to start off?
Yeah, man, rip it up.
Yeah, so today we're going to be reporting a little bit about the Survivor Series Fallout. Obviously, you guys never really do Dirt Sheet after pay-per-views, but because I'm present, I thought we could do a bit of a follow-up.
Why not?
So we'll talk a little bit about how Vince actually felt about Survivor Series this year. There was a report that came out via Aaron Rift from NoDQ.com who actually said that Vince was pretty down on the Survivor Series main event. It never landed, he reckons. It would have been better to have the Lesnar versus Rey Mysterio match close the show. It was a goddamn disappointment as far as he was concerned, in quotes. Overall, the show was good, but not that good. He said that this comes from the WrestleVotes Twitter account where it's been reported as well. The main event finish definitely caused an entire match to fall flat. Vince did not like the match. Vince himself even said that it was a major disappointment.
I wouldn't say major, but yeah, like I understand.
Yeah. Look, it's one of those things where, as I said, within the WWE right now, there is that certain expectancy to deliver on, like, especially with NXT. I believe that's also why they brought NXT into the fold for Survivor Series. But because that the women's revolution, you know, which is something that CM Punk even brought up on Backstage, being labeled there to give that push, because what they believe to brand the women's revolution, to give that push, to kind of put, you know, it's a buzzword.
I've got some comments on that. If you.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Yeah, so although I do agree with CM Punk, and I think part of it comes down to these women need to be left to do their own thing and fucking dominate in their own way. I understand why they do this push. It's good PR, and two, they have a history that they need to correct. Yeah. An example is having at work. We have a student that was coming in, and we were having a discussion around wrestling, and he, I was like, "You got to watch this women's match; it's astounding." And they're like, "Women's match? Like, isn't that like?" Because the common understanding of WWE, especially WWE women's matches, is bras and panties matches. It's the history, it's the Attitude Era, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah. The dirty women's matches.
Yeah, exactly, and it's going to take a long while for that sour taste to go away, and they have to do this PR for it. Although Punk is correct and they should just be able to do what they want, I understand, especially someone coming in new as well, like myself, like a year in at this point, and it's just like, because when I have a conversation with someone, I'm like, the women's wrestling is sometimes better than the men's. Yeah, and that I have to then defend it and be like, no, this is why, blah 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 blah.
Yeah, it's baffling.
Sorry, sitting here with an Iconics t-shirt, by the way. So it's like...
It's baffling because I remember having this conversation with Buddy about a year ago when we were still doing, like, when we were starting up Dash Culture Wrestling. And we were like, like, Betson's just coming into wrestling now, and it's almost like he's coming in at the worst point because really... the product is so bad right now that we don't know how they suckered you in, to be honest. So we're surprised. We're just as surprised that you're in love with the product, because I think it also comes from a place where if you've experienced such the heights of wrestling as it was, you, as an Attitude Era fan, to try and come back and watch the product now, it's hard. It is so hard right now to watch the product. So,
I kind of agree and disagree. I think I came in at almost the perfect time, because once again, at the low, my expectations were like, wow. And then it's been improvements. I got to see the women's revolution, which is, something that I do kind of care about. Like having women get their shot and get their time is brilliant. I love that. And then on top of that, I got to see the beginning of a whole new promotion.
There you go.
Like if I came in at any other time, it wouldn't have the same effect. I got to see from the ground up the beginning of AEW. And the whole new wars that are coming out of this. Like, even if I started watching in January, like it wouldn't have had the same impact, because I got to, I had to watch like the shitty Crown Jewel and stuff, like to get to where I am now. But what suckered me in it was in Melbourne. If it wasn't in Melbourne, I wouldn't have cared. But having it at the MCG, I was like, oh, Melbourne, and that's what got me.
So the next one on the topic list tonight is Mauro Ranallo and Corey Graves. Basically, Corey Graves, he ran his mouth on social media like a moron. So essentially, this is a report from Aaron Rift over at NoDQ again. As previously noted, Mauro Ranallo disabled his Twitter account and did not appear at Survivor Series after Corey Graves sent out tweets that were critical of Ranallo's commentary. Michael Cole noted at Survivor Series that Ranallo blew his voice out, but should be back on Wednesday's edition. Meanwhile, Graves on Twitter issued his first comment since the story broke, which was a meme, first of all, that he posted today, which said, 3 things cannot be hidden: the sun, the moon, and the truth. There was a bit of an uproar. That was actually a quote from Buddha, by the way. There was a bit of an uproar about this. A lot of people over Twitter were like calling him a clown and told him to stay off Twitter and everything. Frank Shamrock, who is a reporter and also a former fighter himself, said that there's a lot of people on social media who deserve to get their mouth punched in, or this is not exact words, but essentially this is just essentially what was said. And Corey Graves basically turned around and said that, in another tweet, he said, it's far more conducive to the human condition to be mad than to be wrong. But yeah, once again, he got called out over social media over the whole situation by...
So is this all around him questioning his commentary?
So what was Ranallo got called out on Twitter by Corey for essentially hogging the mics over at NXT TakeOver, and Corey Graves said essentially something along the lines of, "There's a former ROH champion and WWE Hall of Famer on commentary tonight. If you guys didn't know,
you trying to put over Lawler?"
No, he was putting over Beth Phoenix.
Oh, okay, good. So I'm like, fuck you, right?
But I want to make mention that also I had no problem with Ranallo's.
No, I think he is. I think he's fantastic. His enthusiasm, like he brings back that, like, oh my god, and like he has such a good energy. Like it adds so much. Like it's part of why I love NXT is him. So I think Corey's straight up wrong here.
Yeah, same, 100%. He got called out by a few reporters. Dave Meltzer basically chewed him out. So did Frank Shamrock once again, who called him out and said that he should have his mouth punched in for being stupid on social media. And Corey Graves basically called them both out and said that Meltzer's a pathological liar and that Frank Shamrock should give Corey Graves a call. And Shamrock basically bounced back and said, "Listen, I don't have time to call you. How about you call me?" So there's a whole befuddle, but it also resulted in Ranallo disabling his Twitter account and not showing up to Survivor Series. He basically got sent home over the whole situation, which is kind of sad. It's been reported, obviously, that Mauro Ranallo suffers from bipolar disorder,
and he's a big mental health advocate. He's a big mental health advocate. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, which is something I can highly respect, especially with something that I'm going through at the moment.
Oh yeah, big time.
It's a bullshit situation. It's one of those situations where, like, if Corey Graves wasn't good at his job, he would have been reprimanded harshly. But the guy is too good at his job. He runs the official WWE podcast. He runs, at one point he was running all 3 shows, NXT, Raw, and SmackDown. I want to say run, I mean commentary wise. You know, the guy is good at his job, and that's what kind of gets him the out on this whole situation. But I'm sure that, like, for any corporation, in terms of calling people out over social media in a public forum like that, there should be some sort of, he should be reprimanded in some sort of fashion. But
yeah, big time.
I don't think it's going to happen. So
yeah, it's this weird space where there seems to be some wrestlers that are some in people in WWE that are untouchable. Like Randy Orton said, you know, a racial slur on a stream recently, nothing. You know, this whole thing with like Jordan Miles as an example, like he's been like essentially let go / fired or allowed to quit. But you know what I mean? Like there's like, depending on where you happen to be and what you say. Like Lars Sullivan got sacked from racial shit from years ago. Don't get me wrong, he still seems like a piece of shit person. But yeah, I mean, it's just weird that there are some people that are given it clear and some that aren't. Hulk Hogan, giant fucking racist. Lawler called a Mexican gentleman a jumping bean the other week. No repercussion.
Well, and
anyone else would get the fucking sack.
Yeah, there was a one recently with NWA Power with Jim Cornette recently quitting his job. Yeah, that was a bit of a racist comment. And Jim was on his podcast the other night trying to defend it, and I was listening to that cringing. It was bad.
Oh, saying that though, I do love that NWA Power is totally like pre-recorded and edited, and they still kept it in. They wanted to sack him.
Can I tell you though, like NWA Power is probably my favorite promotion right now.
Oh, really?
Even though like it's such good.
It's one that Billy Corgan owns, yeah.
Yeah, Billy Corgan runs it, yeah.
Yeah, sweet.
Yeah, there you go. Betson, Keith Lee's status with WWE is also something in question right now. So, as previously noted, Vince McMahon is reportedly high on Keith Lee. And according to WrestlingNews.co, Vince was very happy with his performance backstage. One source within the WWE noted the following, and quote, he doesn't complain, he shows up to work. We know how good he is. With this night, how much he showed, what he can do. Vince likes him. And I think that he'll be on Raw and SmackDown within a month. According to another source, they noted, quote, I will put one of the main they would put one of the main belts on him. If they don't want to beat Bray, then they put him in there with Brock. I think people can believe Keith can beat Brock. He has what Vince is looking for. I would maybe give him a manager as well. He works as hard as anyone and never bitches and complains about anything. So I'm happy for him.
All right. Well, then, like, so I agree. I think Raw would be the best place to put him. I think they could benefit from that sweet little baby face. And as I said, it's more believable if he could take out Brock than Bray. In terms of a manager, though, who do you think should take that spot?
Shit. So that's the thing. Like, I wouldn't put a manager on him straight out on the get go. But manager wise, they really don't have anybody that could fit with him right now. To be completely honest, it's a hard one because the guy can work on his own. He's over. He doesn't need that manager push. He has that bask in his glory chant that goes so over every time he steps in that ring right now. So yeah, no, I don't think he needs a manager. But the guy can definitely go. I think he will be on Raw or SmackDown. I'm probably going to put money he'll end up on Raw within the next month or so.
Yeah, USA to USA makes sense.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, so, look, that's great. I'm kind of... I don't want to see the guy leave NXT because I think that's where his strength is right now. But, yeah, we'll see what happens, I guess, with that fact. It'll be interesting.
It's interesting how they approach this with the idea that there's no such thing as call-ups anymore. Once again, Corey Graves after the bell, it's a great discussion with Triple H around the idea of call-ups, and it's like, yeah, that doesn't exist anymore. That's not the model that we use because they are all on the even playing field now.
Yeah, 100%. I got one more for you. This comes from today, actually, and from me. So during the town hall meeting today on Raw, Seth Rollins went basically into business for himself once again. The segment opened up with a whole shit ton of CM Punk chants. Seth Rollins actually responded to the crowd there, quote, "Hey guys, I tried to get him here. I'm sorry. He wants to sit at his desk in LA talking about change, but this isn't about him." The segment ended in the Raw roster walking out on Seth Rollins and blah, 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 blah. You guys can cover that tomorrow on Young Other Wrestlers. But essentially, Seth Rollins currently is going into business for himself is what's happening. But WWE are obviously giving him the okay right now to incorporate that within his promos if it's ever addressed on TV. Which also tells me that WWE are also trying to goat CM Punk back into wrestling on TV as well. Which is quite obvious what they did with with his first appearance on Backstage when Renee was pretty much like on the ball with those questions like, are we going to see you wrestle on TV again? And he just was like, you could see he wanted to kind of just swallow in every time she asked that. And he was like, his response was basically that, you know, it's going to take a lot of time.
It's the hot button question, man. Everyone wants it.
Well, that's the thing. Like, WWE are trying their hardest to really get the guy back on TV. I honestly would once again put money on it that we are going to see Seth Rollins versus CM Punk at WrestleMania next year.
Sorry, side note, we just got a chat from our good friend Buddy Watson, I sometimes cruiserweight champion back in the day when I kept getting that wrong. There's a picture of, you know, the real reason why Bayley never wears the SmackDown belt around her waist, because if you follow it down, Bayley, the way it's like Bayley, it reads AEW. I laughed at that yesterday. I kind of noticed it.
Yeah.
Fun fact. Thanks, buddy.
Thanks, buddy. Where's my Death Note review? But yeah, so if I put my money on it, we're going to see CM Punk versus Rollins at WrestleMania in the main event next year.
That would be astounding.
Yeah.
And that's enough time to get him back. And like, I think the pop alone, even if we don't see him for the rest of the year, even if we just see that, he just comes out, it's the only match he does, that's it, bam, and he's done.
Well, I'm expecting Rollins to move to Fox. That's the thing, too. I think that'll be part of the deal. Rollins will probably move to SmackDown after the Royal Rumble. There could be a good chance that we could see Rollins win the Rumble and then use that loophole to move to Fox on SmackDown and somehow win the title in between that time. It could basically be that like Rollins wins the Rumble, says, I don't want to wait till Mania to win the title. He wins the title.
At like Fastlane or whatever.
Full turn, full heel turn still in effect. Like he is absolutely like dirty heel, dirty. After Fastlane rolls over, he's still like dirty heel on TV. That Cult of Personality music hits on TV. White hot crowd. WrestleMania main event: CM Punk versus Rollins for the WWE Championship.
Who wins?
Punk, because they'll want to keep him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind it being a one and done match. Like he comes in, wins, he's like, I don't fucking want it. Just drops it and leaves.
Yeah. But they'll want to sign him.
Yeah.
They'll want to sign. Look, right now, it's just a case that WWE are really, as much as like they're like, yeah, he's doing his thing on Fox, bullshit. Like Vince McMahon has wanted CM Punk to come back and work for.
Yeah, they'd be hard chatting to him. And even the fact that they have him, even after allegedly AEW tried to poach him, but he kind of told him to shove it.
And the lawsuit.
Yeah, and the lawsuit, yeah.
It's weird to know that CM Punk and WWE had a major lawsuit against each other, and Punk was more like, yeah, you know, I'm just gonna go work for Fox. Bitch, please, you're working on a show that's headlined WWE Backstage, and Rollins made this point too on a podcast recently this week. He said, as much as he says he works for Fox, the show's called WWE Backstage, so it's true.
Yeah, I guess it come down to like money. Easy work, because I guarantee AEW wanted him in ring, and he's not. Maybe he's not quite ready. 100%. He doesn't really want to do it.
Yeah,
and like it is. So you've got some information around how Punk's relationship with AEW. Mm-hmm. So like, where did that sit?
Negative. So like negatively. So what happened was, Punk came out and said that all they did was trade texts with each other, and that Punk basically said that. Like, it was a, hey, good luck with your match tonight, over to, like, the Young Bucks. And the Young Bucks took that like they were talking or something. But then Cody said, no, we had dinner with the guy. You know, we had talks. And then Punk said that never happened. Mm-hmm. So there's obviously a disconnect there. Tony Khan said that basically that, you know, oh, yeah, I know Phil. He's a nice guy, whatever. And then Punk's like, I barely have talked to Tony Khan. There's been, like, a text or two between us. So it's like who's zooming who here. It's essentially very much of a disconnect in terms of what we're being told as fans and what's actually happened, and whether that's Punk actually hiding some of that, or whether that's AEW trying to push the agenda and say like we're really interested in having Punk. You know what? In turn, it's the deal's done. Punk is WWE, and regardless of whether he works at Fox or not, we know that AEW are still like Cody Rhodes, the Bucks. I don't know so much about Tony Khan. Tony Khan, man, it looks like you can't fucking ruin his day at all. That guy's
He was so happy all the time,
which is grouse. It's grouse.
So
like,
good.
It's good to see somebody, like that. But honestly, I think CM Punk has shit in Cody Rhodes' Cheerios, so I don't think you're ever going to see CM Punk in AEW.
No, I see the same.
Yeah.
But man, that has been a nearly 2-hour wrestling chat with Dash, DirtSheet Dash. Holy fuck. Was that?
Sorry to keep you.
No, it was awesome. It was very cool.
Yeah.
So it's a different way to discuss wrestling than Jem and I do. It was being great. We had to cover 2 killer pay-per-views.
Yeah.
I'm very happy with that. So thank you very much, Dash. Last minute coming in and having a chat.
You're welcome.
It's been absolutely amazing.
Anytime, brother.
This has been our Survivor Series NXT in review. If you want to hear our SmackDown in review, Tuesdays. If you want to hear our Raw in review, Thursdays. That's 8 a.m. on your podcast services, 9 a.m. on those YouTubes. If you want to join that wrestling conversation, head over to facebook.com/group/thepopculturist, Twitter, Discord, links are in the description. Twitter handles are below our lovely faces. If you want to join the conversation as it happens, head over to patreon.com/thepopculturist. Support us at any dollar value. You get yourself a nice little sneaky link where you can watch us record this show live. If you want to support us in a more once-off fashion, head over to popculturist.com/shop. We can buy shirts and other assorted shit with our logos on it. Once again, there seems to be a sale every week between now and Christmas. Get yourself or your family member some C- grade YouTube content, Australian content creators. That's what you need. Get some.
You need to get you a Big Daddy Betson shirt now.
How are you gonna make one? Actually, I don't have a Big Daddy Betson shirt.
Good,
I don't need one. But yeah, so get yourself some merchandise for your loved ones. Get yourself, for your niece and nephew. They don't gotta know. It's a fucking shirt. And then secretly, they're advertising Young and the Wrestlers or for the players. We are also on Twitch, twitch.tv/thepopcultures. What are we streaming this week? Fuck if I know. Probably nothing. I'll be really tired by Thursday. I guarantee it. I'm tired right now. It's fucking Tuesday. But until we come back to talk about Raw, I'm Ryan Betson. And I've been joined by
DirtSheet Dash. Yeah.
And we'll see you next time.
Boys.
Fuck yeah. The Young and the Wrestlers, the Pop Culturist WWE podcast, is fan support over at Patreon at patreon.com/thepopculturist. And we'd like to thank our Patreon producers and our Patreon founders for their kindness, their support, and their generosity. Our Patreon founders: Alpha Ferret, Craig O'Flaherty, David Chataway, Jesse Stevenson, and Jacob Garner. And our Patreon producers: AJ Abatomi, Damian Holdies, Kyle Dunn, Lee Wintershoven, Nathan Massetti, Paul James, Pure Mongrel, and Sean Levitt.